Okay, Kai.
Okay, thank you. Media friends, we convened 71B report, and I had talked about today's press conference, and I would like to report on our first meeting. Now, every year we have two reports from the Audit Commission, and on each occasion, the Commissioner might have 10 or 8 reports, and we have some portions that are available for public inquiry, and we will have written questions. And in Report 71, aside from Chapter 1 and 2 of Report 71, where we gave a briefing yesterday, some reporters also asked about RTHK and the police, which I had answered, and we are following up the rest. And having provided a response doesn't mean that we will close the file. They need to pledge to make improvements. They need to respond to all the questions highlighted in the report before we close the file. So in the government's PAC, aside from an open inquiry and asking questions, each follow-up case will proceed cautiously, and we now have 30 follow-up cases, and some of these go back to Report 31. That's many years ago, and I think that one example would be the money owed by UNHCR regarding refugees. So we've chosen 8 reports, 8 follow-up reports, and let me talk about the 8 reports, and then my colleagues will supplement. So the first one, our deputy chairman, he's responsible for Report 31, Audit Commission's Report 31. We're still following up on the UNHCR monies owed, and then we will start with a history lesson. Thank you, Chairman. Good afternoon. All the reporters present here probably weren't even born during the peak of the refugee crisis. That was in the 80s, and there was a war in Vietnam, and refugees fled to Southeast Asia, including Hong Kong. So when the Vietnamese refugees flooded into Hong Kong at the end of the 80s and beginning of the 90s, the Hong Kong government at the time according to the UNHCR, the Hong Kong government, first of all, had set up some refugee camps and provided basic necessities to these refugees. Between 1989 and 98, roughly 9 years, the Hong Kong government had spent roughly 1 billion of funds, temporary payment of funds, and that was on behalf of the UNHCR. They were footing the bill on behalf of UNHCR, and from then till now, the SAR and the Hong Kong government at the time had been pursuing UNHCR to pay up, and up till now, the UNHCR has only repaid 116 million, and the total money owed is 1.3 billion, and they've only paid up 111. So the outstanding amount is 1.162 billion. And in our last report of the PAC in February 1999, the report 31, that means over 20 years we haven't had much progress. The Security Bureau in August 2018 had written to UNHCR seeking a repayment of the 1.162 billion money that we paid on behalf of UNHCR. So we handed this matter to the security panel, and they agreed to follow up. But why do we have this item placed on the clearing sheet? It's because unless the money is written off or partially paid off, otherwise we need to follow up, because this is Hong Kong public money. We had made payment on behalf of UNHCR, and we need to retrieve these funds. So thank you, Chairman. We'll disclose all 8 items, and media can ask questions. The next report is on footbridge connections between 5 commercial buildings in Central District. Mr. Siu Ka-fai. This is Director of Audit's report 32. Now, in the report number 31 of October 98, the 5 commercial buildings in Central District required footbridge connections. And 3 buildings were given some exemptions or certain privileges, and we had wanted some footbridge connections to make foot traffic more convenient. So when the land was granted and privileges were granted, there weren't any conditions. So these footbridge connections weren't fully built. So after the time, we have re-examined this issue. In footbridge B and C in 2002, it had been made available to the public. So in footbridges D and E, the usage or value isn't so high. In footbridge E, so that was the decision was to shelve that connection.
商業大廈4嗰度咧，睇下佢幾時。如果假設佢係有機會重建嘅時候咧，先至會考慮咧去做呢個行人扶手D 嘅。咁而咧A 嗰度咧就係其實牽涉到呢個商業大廈2啦，同埋商業大廈1嗰個業權嘅。咁最新嘅情況咧就喺2018年嘅2月度啦。咁樓宇大廈即係商業大廈2咧，嗰個業權人咧就表示其實佢已經同呢個商業大廈1嗰個業權人咧，其實已經得到初步嘅同意啦。咁咧就係而家咧其實應該咧即係大家會商討嘅，盡快咧就會將呢個行人扶手 A 嗰度咧就會呢個位置咧會搭建咁樣嘅。報告完畢，主席。
好多謝，唔該晒。我哋第3個項目咧就係都係啲新界啲小型屋嗰啲丁屋好各方面。咁呢個報告咧就喺審計署報告第39嘅。咁我哋睇下阿坡前副主席咧，佢嗰陣時當時你都喺度㗎嚇。呢個報告嗰陣時應該87未？擺未啊？咁咧你可以睇到歷史幾長啦嚇。咁咧就我哋跟進過好耐㗎。咁我請坡去解釋好唔好？
唔該，主席或者容許我先申報啦，我本身都係新界原居民嚟嘅。 剛才副主席講起話我哋80年代越南難民嘅事啦，大家未出世啦。咁講緊呢個更加耐啦，因為講緊1898年嘅事嚟㗎啦嚇。咁或者我先容許我介紹個背景先咧。我哋剛才主席介紹咗啦，喺87年咧，審計署曾經就有關嘅新界鄉村擴展試驗計劃咧進行審查啦。咁其後做咗一個報告咧，就喺2002年嘅10月咧，有審計署報告第39號咧就係刊登啦。咁而喺2002年嘅10月份咧，舉行咗一次公開嘅聆訊啦。咁喺39號報告書裏邊咧，有咗詳盡嘅證供結論同埋建議嘅。咁基本上咧，剛才介紹過咧，就係原居民牽涉到咧，就係喺1972年11月嗰陣時有個政策咧，就係當時嘅港督咧係會同行政局咧係批准係新界鄉郊地區嘅地方可以起呢個所謂丁屋咧。但凡18歲以上，父係源自1898年時係認可嘅鄉村原居民嘅男性原居村民呢，都有一生有一次機會咧，就可以用優惠條件呢，係興建間小型嘅屋宇，即係叫丁屋啦。咁而當時咧係基於係一個所謂嘅喺建屋牌照即係方面嘅一個免費啦，另外就係換地或者係私人協約嘅批地3方面嘅。咁基本上所研究嘅政策範圍咧嘅議題咧，包括有4方面。一個咧就係有唔少嘅原居民咧喺完成咗佢哋嘅建屋之後咧，就冇幾耐就將屋賣出去咧逃離啦。第二咧就係地政總署咧係未有備存咧係列載有權建造丁屋嘅合資格嘅原居民嘅名冊啦，變好難去核實啦。第三咧就係喺認可鄉村名冊裏邊嘅一啲嘅優惠條件嘅批建屋宇嘅登記冊咧。同埋對唔住，應該係鄉村名冊同埋獲批建嗰個丁屋嘅登記冊咧，係出現咗不符嘅地方咧。而第四咧就有大量等待處理中嘅申請咧，係需要好多時間都未能去清理嘅。咁呢4方面咧，曾經當時係作為一個研究嘅議題。而主要嘅結論同埋跟進行動咧，容許我先介紹一下。一就係帳委會咧就理解到當時嘅個叫做房屋及規劃地政局局長啦，就向本委員會咧就承諾咗咧，任期之內咧會全面檢討呢個丁屋嘅政策，同埋一次過解決有關嘅政策嘅問題。咁係一個幾大嘅承諾嚟㗎嚇。第二咧就係話會承諾咧係將呢個丁屋嘅申請個案咧嘅輪候時間咧納入政府一般嘅所謂服務承諾裏邊啦。意思即係話會有個服務承諾嘅安排啦，另外有告示啦咁。咁而咧當時嘅帳委會亦都促請當局咧喺2方面嘅。一咧就係喺嗰個建屋嘅牌照又好，換地嘅牌照又好，換地嘅計劃裏邊又好，或者係私人協約嘅批地又好咧，都要加入條件係一個所謂凍結期嘅條款，係定明咧凍結期內係唔能夠咧係轉讓啦。咁而有翻方面咧都會其後會諮詢立法會意見啦。第二咧就係會徵詢鄉議局嘅意見之後咧，會制定核實原居民身份嘅一個新嘅程序。呢2個當局係當時係被要求咁跟進嘅。而事實上咧，帳委會咧喺03年起咧一直都有跟進有關嘅課題，先係有9次，日期我就唔再重複啦。有9次時間咧係去信當局咧，係要求佢跟進嘅。而最新一次咧喺2017年嘅2月份咧，帳委會咧亦都係會將有關事咧係轉咗俾呢個事務委員會跟進嘅。咁呢個係基本上帳委會跟進嘅事項。最新情況。大家都可能清楚知道咧，我哋最近有一個喺4月8號嘅高等法院嘅原訟庭嘅關於原居民呢件案件嘅司法覆核嘅判決啦。咁基本上簡單講咧，就係話就確認咗一方面咧，就係如果係免費建屋牌照呢方面咧係屬於原居民的，而且確係佢嘅傳統權益，於是係合法合憲嘅。但係另一方面咧，如果係牽涉到政府換地或者係再批地嘅話咧，恐怕就係不符合有關嘅所謂傳統權益，於是咧就認為應該只會停止處理申請嘅。咁但係咧就由於法庭睇出翻政府係需要喺政策上咧有相當多嘅事幹要跟進啦，於是佢哋俾咗一個所謂6個月期嘅一個時限咧，俾政府可以跟進，亦都係如果有需要嘅申請再延長都可以嘅。咁同埋咧亦都考慮雙方會否去上訴。咁所以現階段咧，我哋只可以希望咧就政府咧喺講翻呢個法庭嘅判決嘅情況之下咧，盡快咧係跟進有翻需要跟進嘅事項。咁我交代咁多，唔該。
好，唔該晒。即係昨日嘅留下落嚟嘅歷史咧，有好多今時今日嘅官員，有啲係退咗休，有啲就做咗好最高嘅官位嚇，係講過。但係所以而家個解決問題咧係未解決，但係要法庭係要個 JR 先解決嘅。咁係咪 JR 解決？係咪呢個宗旨咧？我哋唔知。咁但係呢個係我哋一路咁跟進緊嘅。第4個項目咧就係呢個路邊嘅環保斗啊。呢個我哋揾咗請咗 何俊賢呢去俾我哋個報告，大家都要聽一聽。呢個係牽涉到好多民生嘅問題喺度，同埋安全嘅問題。OK，
好多謝主席啊！咁其實呢個課題呢，就係2013年10月審計署署長第61號報告書裏面呢就寫咗嘅。咁我哋2013年12月呢就舉行咗一次嘅公聽會。其實問題就好簡單嘅呢，就係咁多年以嚟呢，大家對於環保豆嘅公眾投訴就顯著增加。咁所以呢，我哋就睇翻份報告裏面呢，就做咗一啲研究。咁我簡單報告3至4點啦。報告書裏面呢，其實就指出審計署一共發現咗470個路旁嘅環保豆冇完全符合環保署同埋運輸署就環保豆發出嘅指引。咁即係話呢，佢哋係霸佔咗一啲政府嘅用地啦、公共嘅道路啦，對交通造成一啲障礙，甚至係構成咗好多環境同埋衞生嘅問題。就算係壞咗嘅話呢，佢都未必會清理。而且有好多人咧當嗰個環保豆係垃圾桶，造成環境衞生嘅問題。咁啊，其實咧呢啲咁嘅環保豆擺咗喺馬路上面咧，亦都有曾經聽過有好多嘅意外發生。咁啊，我哋其中一啲嘅議員咧都曾經遇到呢啲咁嘅問題，不過唔好開名係邊個啦。另外第二個咧就係我哋就要睇翻咁嘅執法嘅問題啦，就係地政總署咧根據相關嘅條例移走環保豆之前呢嘅24小時就會通知呢個環保豆嘅主人，呢一種嘅執法行動咧成效不彰。咁而警務處咧平均每2個月咧先移走1個環保豆，咁即係話咧呢啲問題一路發生，但係清理嘅行動係越嚟越慢，變成問題日積月累。咁睇翻個政策裏面咧，亦都冇一個指明嘅部門或者政策局咧係負責關於環保豆嘅議題。咁所以咧就遇到環保豆嘅議題咧，就部門推部門，慢慢推裝，變成一個懶處理。咁啊，主要我哋結論同行動咧，就係帳委會對於今次嘅事件係表示非常震驚、強烈不滿，而且認為不可接受。07年呢，曾經喺相關嘅行業，即係環保豆嘅行業，就同政府部門已經引入咗准許證嘅制。
We had introduced a permit system, but the THB, to a certain extent, had evaded responsibility. They did not instruct the Transport Department to take action. And in 2014, the PAC has continued to follow up. Apart from the annual progress report, PAC also wrote 6 times, and the most recent occasion was January 2019. So the situation is that the government says that they have taken steps to enhance management and control of roadside skips, including the leasing of 2 short-term tenancy sites for storing idling skips, and there's also been a joint action in black spots, and they say that it has been the number of idling skips has reduced by 90%. And third point, we mentioned that there's a voluntary registration system to standardize specifications for skips and to promote good practice. So we expect this to be rolled out in the second half of 2019. So we will be waiting for 1 year to examine the efficacy of the program. So it might not be a major issue, but it does have an impact on livelihood. We don't want bad practice to become a habit or to become acceptable. And every year it, in fact, wastes public funds, and even road repair and maintenance is an expense. So the 5th item is about planning, construction, redevelopment of public rental housing. Is that Deputy Chairman? So the PRH report, you need to focus on 3 areas. That is planning, construction, and redevelopment. We're not talking about housing policy. Now this report dated back to the audit report number 62 in April 2014, and the PAC held 2 public hearings in May 2014, and we identified 2 or 3 issues. First of all, turns out that Housing Authority or the relevant departments starting from 2012 to 13 had established a new mechanism for address for long-term PRH demand, and that might be in conflict with our old assessment, and we have a view on that. And at that time in 14-15, we saw that the typical queuing time previously was 3 years, but it has been going up. So I can tell you right now the queuing time, that is as of the end of September 2018, we have 150,000 people applying for PRH, and the average waiting time is 5.5 years. Of course, when we held the inquiry, we asked, how did you calculate the waiting time? What assumptions do you have? So these are our concerns. Now, on construction, the methodology, the cost, the speed, and of course, aside from assessing the number of PRH, you need to have land supply. How do you form a site? How do you convert the site? The government has a plan to take old PRH and rebuild that. And before they start the rebuilding, they need to do structural surveying and assessment. But we found that as of end of October 2013, before this report, there were still 22 old PRH housing outstanding that hadn't undergone assessment. So that means there's a lot of work that needs following up, and we will continue to place this item on our clearance sheet. Item number 6, that is provision of long-term care services for the elderly. This involves a lot of elderly, and these services are necessary in light of our aging population. And we've started to follow up on this item since audit report number 63. So we'll have a report. In October 2014, we dealt with audit report number 63, and Hong Kong has been facing an aging population. Between 2013 and 14, 197 million and 3.41 billion was provided towards subsidized community care and residential care services, and another 2.1 billion was spent under the CSSA scheme for elderly living in non-subsidized RCS spaces. So we have some statistics, and this is part of our study. The subsidized residential care homes had went up by 20% in 14 years, from 21,600 in 2000 to 26,000 in 2014. We also have a central waiting list. There were 30,690 elderly on the queue, and the capacity was only 26,000. The subsidized RCHE average time was over 30 months. This is a special figure. If you look at December 2018 in the central waiting list, the number went up from 30,690 to more than 40,000. So the waiting time has also increased. So people in the queue, we also have people who passed away, and in the past, before 2010, there would be between 4,000 to 4,500 people who passed away. And recent figures, in 2018-19, December, some 4,900 people who had passed away in the queue. So if you add the figures, it would reach the figure of 5,700 in 2013-14. So our follow-up PAC is concerned with this situation and it's not acceptable. So Labor Welfare Bureau and Social Welfare Department have failed to make sufficient effort. We see an increasing number of elderly in the waiting list, and new subsidized CCS and RCS cannot meet the needs of growing elderly. So we need new initiatives, and these are not effective, and it cannot meet the growing demand for CCS and RCS. So the PAC has continued to follow up since 2015. We also wrote to the administration in January 2018 and January 2019. The latest situation, as of June 2018, Social Welfare Department has earmarked sites in 30 development projects, and it's estimated that 3,300 residential care places, which include subsidized and non-subsidized places. We also have about 1,010 daycare places. And if all the projects under the special scheme on privately owned sites for welfare uses could be implemented, there will be some 9,000 additional service places and 7,000 residential care places and 2,000 daycare places for elderly. Social Welfare Department has also provided 6,000 vouchers under the pilot scheme on community care up till September 2020. Now we hear from social welfare that it cannot be resolved even with funds. So if it's not a matter of money, then is it a policy issue, or personnel issue, or land issue? Well, we are very concerned, and we hope that the government take steps into finding the root problem and take action and provide us with a timetable. Thank you for the detailed explanation. Now everybody, our elderly, they had contributed to Hong Kong in their youth, and we enjoy our prosperity today, and it is thanks to their efforts. We have some 5,000, 6,000 people with a very humble request who want elderly residential care. So the government feels that it's normal to have 6,000 elderly waiting for residential care. They don't think it's a big problem. They think that if money can resolve it, it's not a problem. But they don't want to resolve it, and that is the big problem. And everybody here will dedicate themselves to finding a solution. This is something that our elderly deserve, and it is our responsibility. What is the average? We see there's a rising trend, rising age in the waiting list. So do they receive adequate care when they are in these residential care houses?
咁咧就係最後嗰呢個係仲係尾二個，對唔住，係呢個尾二個仲更加有興趣嘅。呢個係阿副主席嘅首本戲嚟，呢個佢擺咗好多時間去做研究。我哋喺呢個3號報告嗰度咧，大家都有呢個係因為都唔係好耐嘅情況，幾年㗎。咁喺呢方面咧，我哋仍然擺咗喺呢一度，直接做我哋可以有空中嘅安全啊，空運嘅安全各方面咧。咁我等下副主席解俾你聽呢個報告。
好，唔該主席。嗱，呢一個嘅航空交通管制同埋相關服務呢個報告呢，我哋喺2014嘅12月間呢，至到2015年嘅3月呢4個中間呢，係開咗6次嘅公開聆訊，亦都係一個記錄嚟嘅。 我對呢一個嘅報告係非常之深刻。咁我另外一個我都做咗7年嘅帳委會啦，咁我會講翻少少感受。上一屆呢，另外一個非常之重要嘅一個報告就係由謝偉俊當時嘅副主席領導嘅關於廉署嗰個報告呢，亦都應該係做咗有一個零數都有6個，差唔多都係。呢兩個報告我哋每一位嘅同事都用咗好多心機去做。嗱，當年呢，即係民航處呢係有一個嘅投標嘅工作，因為呢，佢係要購買一個新嘅航空嘅管制系統，即係 Air Traffic Control System。咁我哋睇咗佢好多嘅投標程序啊等等同埋文件。咁當然有幾個大嘅問題，就係佢個投標合約即係佢投標係中咗啦，有間公司都開名啦 ，Radian 女神就中咗標嘅。咁標價呢就有個標價喺度嘅，但係呢，佢做下呢一個嘅合約嘅時候呢，就提出咗2個嘅修訂，而呢2個修訂呢，涉及咗係另外要附加8900萬嘅元嘅一個費用，另外附加即係話同佢嗰個投標價係高出咗8900萬。咁另外呢，喺成個系統嘅驗收啊測試中間呢，係發現咗好多嘅缺失。比如喺廠內驗收嗰時呢，我哋即係佢哋啦，即係民航處係發現咗204個缺失啦。喺實地驗收測試嘅時候呢，亦都有成1000項嘅尚待跟進嘅項目。咁整個事情就令到整個嘅新系統呢，係延遲到2015年先至運作。嗱，呢個係遲咗佢哋聲稱民航處聲稱要運作嘅年期係3年，即係話佢原本呢係會喺2012年咧係運作嘅。嗱，咁當然咧，大家最近呢個系統係運作咗，即係都3-4年啦。咁初亦都見到好多傳媒報道，就話佢係有好多嘅運作上嘅一啲嘅毛病出咗嚟，比如話有時個飛機有啲數據係讀唔到啊，有時可能喺個地面度出現咗2隻飛機啊之類啦。呢啲過往初嗰1-2年間都有嘅。嗱，當然我亦都即係察覺到，當舊年山竹係肆虐香港嘅時候呢，呢個系統呢其實都
Last year during the Mangkhut typhoon, the system was in operation. And there was no problem during the typhoon. But why we still put it in the clearance sheet? The stability of the system requires long-term observation. And under different circumstances, suppose there is a typhoon, or during a typhoon, there may be other issues arising. So there's a need to spend more time to observe whether the system is operating safely. Thank you. And finally, it's the maintenance and safety-related improvement of public rental housing. There are about 756,000 public rental housing units, and every year about $3 billion was spent on repair and maintenance. Is the money well spent? Is it spent cost-effectively? In 67A report, this issue was dealt with. I asked Mr. Lam Cheuk Ting to speak on this. Mr. Lam is an expert on lead in water, not salt water. Okay. In 2016, the audit report number 67 referred to public rental housing, repair and maintenance, and also safety-related issues. As for lead in water, that attracted the most serious criticism. Under the interdepartmental committee led by Mr. Ying, the Director of Housing, in the first 7 meetings, there were no minutes on how the departments were to deal with the lead in water problem. The criticism was that the PAC was alarmed and expressed strong resentment. As for day-to-day maintenance, it was not cost-effective. There were repeated maintenance and repair orders, and some repair and maintenance items will have to be redone, and the response to the tenants' call was rather slow. Now, in some housing estates, because they were old, they contain some asbestos. And you know that asbestos has been prohibited as a construction material many years ago. And there is a need to put up warning signs in places, warning labels, so that people are warned, workers are warned, that they should suitably protect themselves when they work on those areas. But it is discovered that the housing department did not have a complete record of the location containing asbestos. And even if they know where the asbestos is, they have not put up warning labels, so that uninformed workers are exposed to health risks. And that's irresponsible, and therefore we really want to criticize the housing department. Well, I don't know whether you know it or not. There are holes in the units for the placement of laundry poles. The laundry poles with wet clothes on them are very heavy. In the year 2004, 8 tenants fell from a height because of this.
So housing department said they would remove these clothes racks, but it's very dissatisfactory. Some tenants are not cooperative, but these clothes racks are very dangerous. You can imagine the elderly. They have to stand on top of a stool, and some 10-20 pounds of clothes are hanging on a pole, and they have half their body is extended out the window. It's very dangerous. So it seems that the housing department is not diligent in these safety matters. So we do have some update in the PAC report. It says that in 2018 March, the lead pipes, some 70% were removed and replaced, but it's very inconvenient to the public rental housing tenants. So we want the different government departments to learn from the experience, and when in the face of crises, they should not repeat housing departments' errors and failures of not meeting records. That is not acceptable. And we also hope that housing department can conduct its daily maintenance work, because we have some 2 million members of public living in public rental housing. So if they don't do a good job, it affects the grassroots citizens. The repair and maintenance, we need to ensure that there's sufficient work safety facilities in place. So you've heard our 8 reports. We have a total of 30 reports that we need to follow up. We are monitoring the government as authorized under the basic law, and We monitor the government's provision of services to the elderly, education, medical services, and so on. So we will continue to follow up, and we thank the government departments who have lived up to their pledges. And so this is our first press conference, and we're trying to bring everything under the sun. We want to provide full disclosure. We want you to also participate in monitoring the government. So we want to provide safe roads. We want to provide housing. We want to take care of the elderly. And yet we have some 5,000 or 6,000 who die while they're waiting in the waiting list for government residential care housing. Then that is not acceptable. So if you have any questions, we might not be able to answer all of them because we're still in the middle of follow-up, but we can share the information with you, and we would like your support. Do we have any questions? If Oriental Daily, just now Kenneth said the Raytheon system, or what other options are there for the air traffic control system? Well, we should not speculate. We actually, when the system is in place, there were some expert groups that were monitoring the system. And recently, I haven't heard any incident reported in your newspaper or any other media outlets. But we won't forego monitoring opportunities. We have a responsibility. Why do we spend so much time on this? Because if our air traffic has any problem, it will directly affect property and even lives. It might even affect Hong Kong's economic hub role. The Civil Aviation Department has spent a lot of effort to improve, and on each occasion, during peak travel seasons, they will look into everything. This is audit report number 63. When they purchased the system, at the time, Prime Minister Cameron, his plane disappeared from the radar when the flight was flying over New Delhi, India. We hadn't purchased the system at the time. We were looking into great details. They were able to answer us, but the system is in place now. We have one incident, so let's hear from Deputy Chairman. Now, I have taken different measures to examine the report. For example, system safety. I had written to Dubai International Airport and whether they had any assessment on this system. Next month I'll be going to Dubai. I have an official visit, so I will take a tour of their system. Well, you don't need to be worried. It's very safe. But we have a responsibility to monitor and if they do a better job, we can close the file. But this is a significant issue, so that's why we keep it on the checklist.
The PAC is following up. It's all the things that you're working on. You've highlighted number of them. Could you tell me about the priority, or are you working on all these items in parallel? Because you have additional auditors report coming up as well. And can you tell me about priority as well as is there particular, are there any particular items that you think it's kind of outrageous or unacceptable that right now you still can't find answers or proper answers to them?
All the outrages have turned into non-outrages. But what we, as in our report, if there is outrage that they have not done their duty, we don't hold back to criticize them, and we did with the Civil Aviation Department. But then they have improved so much, and they have worked very hard to enhance their work, that we are satisfied. But having gone through all this time to go into the system doesn't mean that we should just give up, because this affects a lot of people's livelihood, people's safety, and all this. So we actually keep watching them. Then this is our duty. Second question you asked, is it only 30? We have came down from 71 to 30. As we hope that we don't have any. That is our target, but doesn't happen that way, because every year we have at least 15 to 20 reports which we have to follow up. So this is a continuation process of monitoring governments, departments which have been found that they have inadequacies or inefficiencies which affect our governments and governance. Also, apart from spending money that it should not be spent, there are other government and bodies that affected that their work is not up to mark in terms of governance. So we are watching all this. There's no priority. We will follow each and every single case. The reason why we choose just 8 out of the 30, because some of this actually is affecting people's livelihood, particularly like what Mr. Lam was talking about, the safety of the flats, the 760,000 flats and maintenance, the security, the old people waiting to go to care and attention home, 5,000 people. Are there anybody speaking for them? 5,000 people is a lot of votes. So it's not only votes that 5,000 or 6,000 elderly people have contributed to the Hong Kong prosperity, have contributed their life to make what we now enjoy, that they, in their last request for an elderly and care home, they have to wait for so many years and dying on the way to walk their last mile. This is not acceptable. Outrageous. And this is outrageous. Thank you. Okay?
Okay?
Narrowed it down from 71 to 30. That 71 number.
No, it's not 71 to 30.
When was that?
You keep adding in. So, okay, we have now on our record 30, but we hope that it will come down, and then we'll add some more in. Okay?
Okay?
Next one. Hi.
Yes, Ming Pa. Concerning the UNHCR's sum or debt, if the government does not write it off, then how should the government follow that up? What is your recommendation? It's over 30 years. The next question is on the elderly. Just now, Mr. Ho said that the number of elderly persons on the queue is getting bigger and bigger. And what improvement can the SWD have? First, on the UNHCR, what measures or steps the administration should take? That's not what the PAC can say. No, we check on the follow-up work and also the outcomes. Whether to write it off or not is the decision of the government, and we will watch it very closely. I'm confident that the policy secretary will follow that up. The policy secretary has to fill the legal gap, which has been there for 20 years. So I believe the policy secretaries will fill the gap. Well, that's a portfolio of the Secretary for Security. Mr. Ho, I think my answer is similar to that of the Deputy Chairman. I cannot comment on the effectiveness of the policy. It should be followed up by the welfare panel. The PAC focus on a certain issue. They have asked our money to solve a certain social problem. So we want to know whether they have solved the problem or not. They've asked for $0.97 billion. They have asked, and they also got another over $1 billion. So we want to know whether they have spent the money well. Is there any problem with their understanding of the issue? Or is there any problem with implementation? Is there any problem with communication among the NGOs? This is not the first report on the LWP. When I became a PAC member, since then there was another report which is about the land premium or rent, government rent, in respect of the money to be paid by the NGOs or waived, money waived. Just now, you refer to the report. It was more than 30 years ago. I'm more than 30 years old, so I was there. But we still need to follow up the issue. As for caring for the elderly and repair and maintenance of public rental housing units, the government has not done its part, and I find it unacceptable. Finally, I give the floor to Mr. Lam, and then we'll draw the meeting to a close. Chairman and the members of the press, if the problem is still there for 10 years, 20 years, or 30 years, then I cannot see whether this problem can really be solved. As for the bad debt, I call it bad debt owed by the UNHCR. The UNHCR is in deficits, and there are many refugee crises in the world, and if they have the money, they will spend it on the existing refugee problems. So you're asking for the moon if you ask them to pay you back. And if you keep on spending public money to pursue after them, that is a waste of public resources. So should the government leave the item there, or should the item be written off? Well, we don't want to see that, but if it is a bad debt, after all, if you keep chasing after them, you spend more money. Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for coming. Thank you. Thank you to my colleagues as well.